ARC Junkies presents Weld Wednesday with AWS. Brought to you by the American Welding Society. And now your host, Jason Becker.
Rae, it is so good to see you once again.
Hello.
How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
I've been great. I've been freaking busy.
I know. I keep up with you. I creep a lot.
Creep a little bit?
Yeah, I
Creeping?
just watch you from behind the bushes.
Oh, that's definitely creepy.
Yeah.
Your natural habitat. You're
Damn right.
Plant mom.
Yes.
So, how's everything been? I mean, like, you've been up to Canada, you've been riding motorcycles, you got to tour Harley, you wrote a book. I mean, like...
I've been doing a lot.
You've been busy.
I have. I'm trying to do all of the things.
Guest speakers at schools. Tell me about that. How'd you get looped into...
Well, I've always kind of like done the like public speaking a little bit, and then COVID happened, and of course everything got shut down, and so I kind of got thrown back into it in February of this year, and it's just been sailing ever since. Especially like I've always wanted to break into the elementary school.
Don't break into elementary schools.
I used to actually. Whenever I was a kid, I did once or twice. Stole all their food from the teachers' lounge. But
wow.
I mean, that's a whole nother story.
This is a different podcast.
Yeah, different podcast. I wanted to take it to a different level, and in order to do that, I needed a children's book, and so that, the girls are watching me, these kids are watching me, and I didn't really even notice that they were watching me until, over the last couple of years, and so they deserve something that they can read at, in first and second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and that says, it's okay to be a welder.
Yeah. I actually bought your book like as soon as it came out. Where was I? I was at because I remember I purchased it from a hotel room. Like I did the Amazon pre-order because you made the announcement. But I've been all over. I can't remember. I think I was out in Kentucky. I think that's what it was. I was at Kentucky Welding Institute for their welding competition. And you had posted that the book was getting ready. It was going to be on pre-order. So I had it set on my calendar. Calendar notification went off because I can't remember anything.
Of course.
And so I was like, okay, hopped onto Amazon, did the pre-order, got the book. And my daughter and I sat down and read it when I got it. I love it. It's great.
Oh, man.
And then I didn't realize till after the fact. You told me this. Oh yeah, it's also bonus a coloring book.
Yeah. So I did a lot of research on this thing, like a lot of research, and of course because I'm dyslexic and there's a bunch of different layers to me, I wanted to make sure it was absolutely correct. And on top of that, I wanted to self-publish, and I wanted to take all these steps myself so I could learn that part of the industry, in the book industry, in children's book industry, because I would like to turn this into a series, and I can't do that without trial and error. And so basically this kind of book was my trial and error. And so doing a bunch of research on how many pages a children's book should be, blah, 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 this and that. And then I came to found out I wanted to keep it as childlike as possible. And so why not just do it in the same kind of sketches? If you were to have them sit down and draw you a picture, this is a picture that it would be. Mm-hmm. Well, keeping the main characters as real life as possible, it keeps their attention on the main character versus getting lost in the illustrations. But also, the illustrations are so open that keeps their creative brain growing, so they can literally do whatever they want. They can draw on it however they want, they can color it however they want, because they are children and they're going to color in their books, so why not give them a book that they can do that in?
No, that's a brilliant idea. I think that's the first time I'd ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Because all my kids, they, when they were little, they would color in the books.
Right, so why not make it a book that is completely acceptable? It's still a book, not like a paper coloring book, but it's still a book. But they can literally color the trees in it. They can color the school or the library and all the things that are in it, they can color that stuff and draw their own sculptures or whatever, just give them that creative freedom, but also keeps their attentions on just the main characters.
Mm-hmm. So you said you're going to turn it into a series?
Yeah.
So now she's going to grow up and...
No, actually, I'm going to do it as a series of Wendy the roofer, and because cool. This is Olivia the welder. So roofer, drywaller, tow truck driver, firefighter, all of these different things, because we have so many children's books about wanting to grow up to be a police officer, of course a firefighter, but if you notice, a lot of these books are male related, you know what I mean? You have doctors, you have all of that kind of stuff, but for some reason, when kids grow up, if they're not college grade material, they're basically left to kind of fend for themselves in the trades industry, which is, it's discrediting everybody here. We're in a building right now that's built by welders, right? Not college.
Supporting a welding event, so it's obviously pretty popular.
Exactly. So like there's other things that they could be doing, because a lot of these kids, like dyslexic kids like me, that use their hands to create, and so I'm trying to give them a space to see that it's okay if they want to grow up and build cabinets. It's okay if they want to be a drywaller. It's okay if they want to be a tow truck driver. You know, all of the things.
No, that's really cool. And then, so now you're doing the public speaking engagements and reaching a bigger audience with that as well. Tell me a little bit about your Rae Ripple, the motivational speaker.
I love speaking. Obviously, I'm a talker, so it just works out great for me.
The social media event.
So, honestly, like, going to the little kids are my favorite. Of course, I just spoke to over 700 second graders, which was such a hoot. And you know, whenever I speak to the kids too, like I have like a whole method to keep them engaged, which is super cool. I keep them, I keep them moving and responding to what I'm saying by keeping them involved, like asking them questions and letting them respond. And then they ask me questions and then I respond. And some of them, dude, these are second graders. Some of the questions I got were like literally middle school questions. High school questions that I get. Like this one little girl, she asked me, she goes, what do you do, even with all your success that you have going on now with the book and everything, do you still have people that doubt you? And I said, every single day. But there's always going to be somebody that's going to be around you that's going to tell you you're never good enough. It doesn't matter what you do, no matter how big your heart is, no matter what you accomplish, they're still going to tell you that you're not good enough. And I want to tell you that you don't believe them, because if I would have believed them, then I wouldn't be here talking to you guys, right? And so they answer me, and I just make them have feedback, you know what I mean? And like the older kids, it's cool because of middle school and high school, I can be a little more raw and real with them. Mm-hmm. And then of course the young adults and college students, I tell them the whole 100% truth. Yeah, because they need to know it's a harsh, cold world out there, and they're going to get eaten alive if they make these same mistakes that I made. And so I'm trying to prevent that.
Yeah, no, that's been awesome. And it's been so cool to kind of like see your growth and progression and everything just since we met a few short years ago. To watch you go down this path, and like I've always thought you're cool as hell. You're
my
this
hero.
Big positive, you know, ball of energy, and it's been great knowing you. But to see you go through this whole progression, and now you're out there inspiring others to get into the trade and inspiring others to say, no, you are good enough.
Yeah.
And you know, like don't worry about the haters. You're gonna have them everywhere you go, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So follow your passion and get into this trade. And, you know, screw what everybody else says.
Exactly. I mean, I try to be as unapologetically myself as possible, because when a 13-year-old girl walks, you know, up to me, I want her to know that she can be herself, dress however she wants, say whatever she wants, that she can still be the best human and the best tradesman and the best welder possible. It doesn't really matter about anything else. All that matters is you're happy and you're taken care of, and you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So.
No, that's really cool. So tell me about your little trip up to Harley Davidson and everything that was involved with that.
So much.
Because I know you're like a big Harley dork.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the, you know, Harley owners I feel like are like very toxic. We only ride Harleys and no other motorcycles. That's it. And of course, I'm one of those. It's Harley Davidson's or no motorcycles. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I got whenever I went to Pennsylvania, I spoke at a bunch of colleges, did a bunch of stuff with the kids, and then was set up with a private tour of Harley Davidson, their York operations plant. So I actually got to weld a tank too, which is super cool. So there is a motorcycle that somebody bought that I welded their tank. So
I did think people said, "Oh, you can't weld. You can't even tack and all that other stuff."
Exactly,
And
and
now
here
you're
I am.
welding gas tanks for Harley Davidson
on their factory floor. So I mean, it's only one tank, but there's somewhere out there that has it.
It's out there. It's been pressure tested.
Yeah, that's right, and it worked.
They've done some UT on it.
It hasn't come back yet, so it's all right. But so I got to tour the plant. I got to see, of course, the fabrication side. All of how everything's built and welded together and like put together, and then, you know, drifted off into the paint and how it works. And it's really cool. And then you go into the factory side, right? And it's really cool how it's all run, right? It's run by exactly who you would think it would be run by. So
bunch of Harley bikers.
So the fabrication side looks like a bunch of us,
yeah.
Bunch of welders, right? And they go into paint, and it's like these ladies from the 80s with big old hair, and they're like, their music is blaring. It's like Donna Summer is like blaring in the speakers, and it's all actually mostly women that paint these motorcycles. And then you go into the factory side where it's assembly, and you got all different kinds of walks of life, and then you have the guys that build the motors and install the motors. all look like Dyna Bros, right? And then you go to where they test drive it. These are all OG, like, club guys, like, old school Harley guys that are test driving the motorcycles. But then the new, I think, Lowrider ST had just dropped, and I had already been kind of looking at that motorcycle while we were on the tour. Our tour guide was like, I got something I want to show you. But nobody's seen this yet. So, basically you can't talk about it, you can't nothing. I can now because it's out and I own one. But so I walked past this glass wall and it looked like a science experiment. Like all these guys are standing around in white lab coats, like type situation. And there was this motorcycle, just one. And it was sitting there and it was like this beautiful color red. And it looked just like the Lowrider ST, but they were calling it the El Diablo. And I was like, tell me everything. He's like, we're only making 1,500 of them. We don't know if we're going to keep the name El Diablo, but this is basically what it's kind of going to look like. So I got to look at it in March of this year. And whenever I left the plant, I was like, man, I want that motorcycle. That's it. That's the motorcycle I want, right? And so I got an opportunity to ride Harleys across half of Canada, which was pretty cool, BC and Alberta. And whenever... It was a 2022 Street Bob is what I rode. And I ride an 08 Sportster. So that's a 9-day difference on motorcycles. And I've never ridden a brand new motorcycle before. So as soon as I came home after riding a brand new motorcycle, I was so spoiled. I was like, it's time to buy a new motorcycle. And I was already looking at the Lowrider ST, and I didn't know when the El Diablo was going to drop. And so I just kind of was like patiently dragging my feet, like looking at them. And then all of a sudden, on my birthday, September 1st this year, the El Diablo dropped, and I got the first one, I think, that was released in the U.S. at House of Harley. Drove 36 hours to go get it and bring it home, and it got number 1121.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's badass.
It's such a beautiful motorcycle, and it's so great to ride, man. It just takes care of you, and it has loudspeakers on it, so I can like blare Nora Jones and stuff while I'm driving. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, that's great. So what are you doing as far as like, because you're still doing all your fabrication stuff?
Of course.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but you're pretty popular. You're out there doing all these book signings and guest speaker spots and touring the country. But I mean, you're still back in your shop fabricating everything. I've seen you did that big ass armadillo that you did out of a massive wire spool.
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't a wire spool. It was a hydrovac wheel, hydrovac spool.
Yeah, the big one where they keep that big orange hose on it or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so down the street from my house, they were selling a property, and there was like 15 of them on there, and I just was like, man, can I just like have one of those? Like, I could really use it, but it was so big, I needed to cut it in half. And of course, I'm my own employee, so I use a ladder as a shield as I like cut this thing in half. There's like a whole video of it on Instagram. It's pretty cool. But yeah, and that's kind of like what the framing was on this shell, which is so nice that I still incorporate scrap metal into my work because it gives me like a cheat code sometimes, because that was in like this exact position I needed it to be in to make this armadillo. So when you cut it in half, and then of course I had to bring like the sides in, make it a little skinnier on the top and bigger at the bottom, like an armadillo. It kind of was like my little cheat code. I got that whole framing done without having to do any rolling, nothing.
Yeah, you didn't have to like plan it out or anything. You're just like, I just need to modify this a little bit.
Yeah, just modified it, and it ended up like giving me like a kickstart into building the armadillo.
That's really cool. So where did that armadillo end up?
Lumberton, Texas.
What's he doing there?
Well, he's actually at a fireworks stand / Christmas tree farm.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Multi-purpose installation.
So basically, you can just stick a forklift underneath him, pick him up with extension. So I left him with extension. So I had some rectangle tubing that I cut and make it long enough, and he just sticks them on his forks, and you can pick him up and move him wherever he wants.
That's pretty cool.
I know, it's super cool.
And now, what are you working on now?
I'm working on 2 giant axes for Timbercraft Whiskey, which is a new distillery that just opened up in Big Spring, Texas. So this is going to be like one of the first hometown pieces I've done. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's basically, they want a sculpture instead of a sign, and so that's kind of what that's going to be.
How tall is it?
Well, they were supposed to be 12 feet, and since your girl doesn't use tape measures, it's actually 13 feet.
Okay, well, go big or go home.
Yeah, I mean, it is Texas.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas.
Oh, 100%.
So you're building a set of them?
Yeah, so there's going to be 2, and basically they're going to be crossed in like an X form, and there's going to be like a metal whiskey barrel that I'm going to build that's going to sit right on top of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm doing it. So.
Oh, you'll do it. Like everything you put your mind to, you've done already.
Well, and I don't know how to do any of the sculptures I build. I just go for it.
How do you know how to build a 13-foot axe? I don't know.
Like,
I'm just going to do it.
Build it, and I'm like, all right, how much money? And then I'm like, yes, let's do it. Figure it out.
Damn, that's insane. So what do you have going on now?
So after the axes are done, I'm headed to Wisconsin to build or help build the world's tallest glass Christmas tree. And then
world's tallest glass
Christmas tree. I know, it's a mouthful, right?
Do you primarily dabble in glass?
No, I don't, and I'm actually trying to, and so this is going to be a great opportunity for me to learn something new to incorporate into my own work. So.
How do you learn how to do glass work well enough to go and work on the world's tallest glass Christmas tree? That is a mouthful.
It is. I don't know. Let's do it. Full send. I mean, you don't know unless you try, right? So here I am.
Damn, and when's that start?
It starts in the middle of December, so it should be finished before Christmas.
Okay, so you're taking on, what are you doing after FabTech?
The axes, and then that.
You're going to try to catch up with all that before the
Well, and I have a couple other things I'm doing with Northern Tool. I've got some store openings I'm going to be visiting and doing appearances at. So I've got that because I'm doing a lot of stuff with Northern Tool.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because I was just scrolling through my feed and I was like, oh, Rae put up a post, and oh no, that Rae didn't post that. Northern Tool posted
commercial.
that. Yeah, how did you swing that gig? That's pretty slick.
Honestly, it's my agent, man. She's such a G. Kristen is really truly changed my life, and she basically, I responded to an email with haha, and she was like, absolutely not, and she kind of took over that part of the logistics.
Rae, you can't respond to an email with haha.
Yeah, I know. So she took over the logistics, and Stephanie Hoffman is such an inspiration to me too, and she gives me a lot of advice because she's a fantastic businesswoman. And there's a lot of advice that she'd give me after the show had aired. And she's like, the things that you're bad at, you need to hire somebody to do those things so it frees your time up for other things. And that's kind of what that happened right there in that situation. And man, she has saved my life and really changed my whole game. And so basically Northern Tool, because of her, it kind of grew into something way bigger than what I think initially it was kind of started to be. And ended up in a couple of commercials, and they even filmed the armadillo, so there's one of me with just the armadillo, and it's just a commercial of just me with the armadillo, which is pretty cool. It hasn't been released yet, so the one that you've seen probably is the collective one of everything together. And then I actually found out too, while being here, somebody tagged me in the catalog, and I'm in their catalog too, front page and inside. Sweet. I didn't even know that until I was here. So
that's pretty cool. Congratulations.
So, thank you. That's pretty big.
It's kind of a big achievement. They're rather well known in the industry.
I know. I did do another commercial too for Residio. They used to be Honeywell products, and so Residio bought them out, and so I did do a commercial with them, and that one was super cool. They just basically filmed me all day in my element, just building a pair of wings, and it turned out super, super awesome. I'll send it to you so you can see it.
Okay, yeah, I want to check that out. And you're still doing all your other plasma work and everything, because that's one of the things you're well known for. Over here at the Hypertherm booth, they got some of your artwork up on display.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rad.
Still doing all that too.
You still doing the wings and all that?
Oh yeah, still doing all that too.
Damn.
Art, I think will always be number one in everything that I do. So yeah, it's always gonna be there.
How many hours of the week are you putting into all this? Because it seems like you don't
I know
stop.
Everybody's like, how do you do everything you do? I have no idea. I just kind of go with it.
I want to go back. Stephanie told you to find all the things you're not good at and hire people for that, but you're still doing all of everything else 100% on your own.
Yeah.
In the shop.
I'm doing it all by myself. I haven't hired anybody yet. I'm trying to get to that point. I'm kind of actually looking. I'm really about to. I think next year is going to be that year for me. I'm at a point right now. It's not that I'm unstable. It's just that I have to leave.
You've got so much and so many other commitments.
Yeah, I have to leave for long periods of time, and I can't. I don't have time to train somebody yet to do this yet. So I'm hoping that next year is going to be that opportunity for me to get somebody else in the shop.
Because I know David, he does David Madero. He does such big sculptures and everything. You literally can't do that by yourself. But he directs the art, and he puts everything together, and he brings his guys in to do like most of the structural stuff, because he does all the the texturing and like all that stuff. So I mean, I think you're getting to a point where you've got to start bringing people in to like start nailing some of that stuff out. You know, they can build the like the structure or the stands and stuff while you're out, you know, doing your book signings and you know, guest speaking and all that stuff, and then like come back and
do all the artsy
stuff.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it's going to get to that point. It already is, because my sculptures are getting bigger and bigger. I don't know why they're getting bigger and bigger, but they're just getting bigger. It could be the tape measure.
So everybody can see them. Yeah, it could be the tape measure thing.
Yeah. So I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger, and so I want to be able to do these huge install pieces. That's my dream, is to do these massive statement pieces. And so in order to do that, I'm going to have to get somebody out here, you know, that kind of situation.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, because I seen like coming into FabTech, I think it was this morning, they've got like this massive eagle snatching up, I think it's for the Atlanta Falcons, like snatching up a football and everything, but it's a huge metal sculpture. And like the first thing that popped in my mind, I was like, oh, it's David and Rae.
Yep.
You know, that's the area that you guys play in. And I'm like, I'm starting to notice artwork like more often as I go out,
because I see it more. Yeah. It's really cool how the industry has shifted and accepted metal artists as true welders here lately.
Well, you are. I mean, it's a complete craft, and I don't see why people would give you crap about it. I mean, you can do stuff that I can't do.
Yeah.
Like I can go down there and, you know, like do a structural weld or, you know, weld up whatever, but I mean, like I can't go into the shop and build a 12-foot freaking Viking battle axe.
Yeah, I mean,
13 foot, because
13 because no tape measure.
13, no tape measure.
Yeah, no, it's literally, I can't do the stuff you do, you know? And,
you can, I can teach you.
Well, I mean, and I can teach you my stuff too. It's the same thing. Like, there's a lot of people that came by the Hypertherm booth that build a lot of railings and things like that, things that require precise, math and fabrication and tape measures and like all of that, you know, corners and edges and like all of these like, you know, whatever, right angles and blah, 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 blah that I can't do. And so, like, that's a whole different level of fabrication. But basically, we're all in the same boat here. We're all just rowing together.
We're all in this together. We all love metal. We like sticking it together.
Exactly.
And doing things with it.
I mean, there's still people that gatekeep, of course, and they're going to. And that's fine. And it's totally fine. But that's why I love coming to FabTech. Because y'all have accepted me as one of your own, and like it's allowing other people to come into the industry and create art and be accepted as a welder and as a fabricator. It's really cool.
The whole weld nerd thing like encompasses a lot of different trades within welding.
It does. It really does.
No, that's cool. And I think what you did yesterday, like we had the meet and greet, you know, and like a lot of the questions and like just the photo op and everything afterwards, like how many people came up and said, you know, like, hey, you've inspired me to do X, Y, Z, or you inspired me to, you know, quit my job and get into this because this is what I'm really passionate about. This is what I love. Or, hey, you know, you liked one of my photos. Like the girl yesterday, like she's a metal artist, and she's like, you liked one of my photos, and like she was like stoked about it. And I was like, damn, that's really cool to see the impact that you're having on all these young women, to inspire them to say, hey, you know what? People are going to tell you you're not good enough your entire life, no matter what you do. Do it full send. Like the guy with his daughter, he's like, you know, I'm teaching my daughter how to weld or whatever, and she's kind of self-conscious about it because her friends don't think it's cool. Like, what advice would you give? And like everything that you told him was freaking awesome and inspiring, and he's going to go back and tell his daughter, and like she's going to continue on that path.
But it's not me. It's not me. These are people that are just as brave as I was to step into this industry and just full send it. So, like, they deserve all the credit. This has nothing to do with me. This has to do with them.
No, but you're supporting that, and they need a voice. They need that voice of inspiration, and you know, to kind of push them and say, hey, it's okay to go out there and work with your hands. It's okay to do this. I was there. I'm living proof. You can do it, and you can make something. You can change your entire life.
Yeah.
Like technically, you know, according to standards, and you know, like. People that are products of their environment, like you shouldn't be where you're at today, given the hand that you were dealt,
100%.
You know, a long time ago. And like so when you speak, people listen because you've been there. You're not just some like motivational speaker that's like, you know, I
just does this for a living for a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've been there, and like you're passionate about it. Like everybody, you stopped and talked to everybody. You didn't blow anybody off. You talked to everybody.
Well, I give everybody the time of day. I would not be here if it wasn't for them either. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's literally, it's a double-edged sword. Like I couldn't do this without them. I couldn't. My mission, everything that I'm going after, is because of them. And so I will always forever give every single person my full attention, no matter where I go. And I know sometimes I get pulled away or whatever, but I always will give everybody my full attention, because if they're giving me their full attention, they deserve the exact same thing in response.
That's a great way to look at it too.
Yeah.
Well, Hal, I know it's a busy show. I know you're highly in demand, so we'll go ahead and cut it out right now.
No, we don't have to. Let's do it. Let's
you
keep
got,
going.
You got some more time?
Let's give it.
Okay,
let's give it a couple more minutes. Because the hypertherm booth's right there, right? So like it's literally a hop, skip, jump away. So like I've got a long walk, wink, wink.
Oh,
you know?
That's true.
Yeah, I got a long walk, so we can keep going for a couple more minutes if you want to.
Yeah. What do you want to chat about?
Anything.
What do you have big that's coming out that like people don't know? You got anything like on the down low or like?
Oh, I always have things on the down low.
What are you working on?
A lot of secret stuff that I've signed NDAs on. So.
Oh, well, there goes that idea. That makes for a horrible podcast.
But just know that always save the fork, because dessert is coming. Always.
Just words to live by Rae Ripple.
Yeah, save your fork. Cause
save
dessert,
the fork.
Yeah, whenever like waitresses come and they take your plate and you're like, no, I need my fork. Because dessert. I'm gonna order dessert.
They should bring you a fork when they deliver your pie
but
or ice cream.
this one's already broke in.
That's true.
One. Yeah.
That's true. I know where
it's already warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already warm.
Jeez. So what have you been doing here at FabTech? I know you've done a lot over at the Hypertherm booth.
Yeah.
But what other stuff have you checked out while you've been here?
Honestly, I've been so slam-packed with just different things that I'm doing. Podcasts. I've done like this, 3, almost, I think 4 podcasts since I've been here, just being at the Hypertherm booth. But also, like, I haven't really even gotten a chance to kind of explore. But the amount of people, oh my gosh, the amount of incredible people that I've met at the Hypertherm booth, just standing on that corner is just phenomenal. The girls, oh my God, have you noticed too that versus 2019 FabTech was my first FabTech to now.
Yeah, that was up in Chicago. I remember this first time I met you.
Yeah. Have you seen the amount of women that are here now versus what there were in 2019?
There's a lot more.
It's grown tremendously. So I'm here for it. I'm obsessed.
Well, I think it's because of people like you and Stephanie Hoffman and Chloe and like all the other, Dania and like all the other people that are inspiring women to get into the industry, and I think that's freaking great.
I know, and so many women, so many female students. Man, it's such an incredible sight to see.
I think the Metal Shop Masters had a big to do with that also, because I noticed, like when I was back teaching and stuff, we had a lot of people starting to enroll, especially females.
Really?
They're like, hey, I saw this show and I want to get into it.
That's so incredible.
To see the reach, because I know they dubbed it in like 39 different languages.
Yeah.
So obviously it's kind of a big deal if
I
they're
would
going to do
love
that.
to see myself talk in another language. I think that would be super cool.
You got to get like a VPN, like, tune it into like Brazil or something like that, and listen to yourself in Portuguese.
Yeah, oh my God, I feel like I was yelling at everybody. Because some languages it seems like you're mad and you're like screaming at them.
Oh, that's German. German's like
Russian.
that. Oh yeah, that's another one.
That's another one.
Yeah, you can't like really sound sweet in that language.
I know. So
it's
funny.
The accent, yeah. So like you haven't had a chance to like jump out and like check anything else out?
No, I'm so sad about that. There's so many people I wanted to catch up with.
Who all are you here with? I know you Hypertherm every day.
AWS. Like I've done a lot of stuff with AWS this week. And then,
by the way, congratulations on your honorary membership. I seen that.
Thank you.
That was cool. What? Tell me about that a little bit.
Honestly, it's just like it's by surprise. After I got it, like Carrie brought it to me at the booth. I just like cried for a minute in the closet because like it doesn't. Like, I don't mean to turn this into a TED Talk by any means, and I'm going to try really, really hard not to say this without crying, and it already is coming. I see it. I feel it. It's coming. We talked a long time ago about depression and fighting it and anxiety and, that life. And I just think about that. I wanted to die 4 years ago. And, sorry.
You're good.
This is my life now, and it's just so crazy. I still don't even, sorry. It's just really powerful. This is a huge responsibility, and I don't take it lightly, and it's just so, sorry.
You got it.
I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to do this.
You got this.
So, basically, this is a huge responsibility, and, whoever listens to this and whoever listened to that podcast, that you just got to find a reason. And every single day I wake up and I find a reason, even still now. And it's just crazy. Sorry for the pause, but it's just really crazy that this is my life. And I've never won an award for anything, ever. I think maybe once in like 7th grade, I ran a mile in like 6 minutes. And that was it. I would never be able to do that ever again.
It's pretty impressive.
It's just really wild that like I had that such deep sorrow in my heart, and I wanted to die, and now here I am. And look at all the things I would have missed, you know? And so it's just, yeah.
Look at all the people that you've impacted and the people that you will impact.
And also the people that love me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that people love you. And I know people love me, and I need to be here for them too. I have that responsibility to be here for them too. And so it's that award, even though for some people it may not mean nothing, but it literally means the absolute world to me, because, you know, that moment, you know, of just complete despair and sorrow it's filled with so much more beautiful things now. And so it's just really cool.
Well, you definitely deserve it. I mean, you've poured your heart and soul into everything that you do.
I always do. Full send, 100% in everything I do.
Do you have that tattooed on you yet?
Not yet.
That's the next.
But I do. I did add a new tattoo for the book, though, and it's a book, and it says, "I told you so." You get it?
Yes.
Like, wrote the book, said that I wouldn't, and I did, and it's titled, "I told you so."
People said you couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yep, and here I am doing it.
Yeah, most people say, I hate to say I told you so, but no, don't hate that, because people said you couldn't do it.
Honestly, I think I do a lot of things out of spite at this point.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, you know, I heard Dabs say that, and I was like, you know what, I resonate with that.
Yeah.
You're right.
He's like, Dabs, why you get into this? Because somebody told me I couldn't.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do it and prove everybody wrong.
He's so right.
I love that dude.
Yeah, me too. I love that dude. It's so crazy. Like I said, it's a family reunion here. I basically grew up with you guys in this industry, so it's.
Oh,
really
we're not
cool.
done yet. We're just getting started. This has only been a couple of years.
I know. We're just barely getting
We've
started.
got a lot more work to do, so we're going to need you around.
It is so cool too that how different Fab Tech has changed just from 2019. Even with us, like somebody called us the OGs. We're the OGs of Fab Tech.
Who?
People,
People,
yeah, like literally me, you, Dab, Stephanie, all of us are the OGs of Fab Tech. Did you know that?
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm going to put that on my business card.
I know, OG of Fab Tech. Like, it's so cool. Like,
pretty impressive.
We've made a name for ourselves in this industry, and I think that's something we should celebrate for sure.
That's really cool. Yeah, because I know, like, prior to, because I started attending Fab Tech I think 2016 was my first show.
Really?
And that was in Atlanta, and I came as an educator. I came out to take classes. Didn't know what Fab Tech was. Like, somebody had told me about it, but I was like working on, like, I'd just become a welding educator at that time, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to teach people. I don't know the technical terms. I don't know, like, I don't know anything other than, like, what I know as a welder. How do I convey that information?
Right.
So I took a bunch of, classes here at Fab Tech. Like, here's one on how to write a welding procedure. I took a class with Weld Ed. I took a bunch of different classes, and then I got to tour the show.
Yeah.
And then coming back with Weld.com, like in, because I would only hit it up when it was in Atlanta, because, like, I'm an educator and I would just drive.
And you already
Actually, no, I did Chicago one year. That's right. I flipped to do Chicago one year. But then I rolled out here with Weld.com, and, like, we worked the show. And, like, just to see, it's not just business owners. It's prior to that, I think it was like companies that would just come in here to, like, see stuff and buy stuff. But now you've got a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm a welding student, or, like, I'm a small business owner, and I know I'm not coming in here to buy a $300,000 machine, but, like, let me check out your fixture table.
Yep.
Like, let me check out, like, Markall's here. Like, let me look and see, what writing utensils you have.
Yep.
Oh, you guys manufacture welding hoods. Let me check that out. Oh, Up and Smokes here with their welding jackets. Like, let me see that gear. It's not just for the high-end manufacturer or the high-end business owner. This place is for everybody.
Everybody.
And this is our like, event to meet up. Like you said, a family reunion. We had so many people come out. We hosted 2 events this week.
Oh my God, the Hard Rock was
insane. And then Arcs Nails last night. That was another.
I missed that one.
Boo.
I know. I had dinner plans.
That was
but
a
it was
great
business,
event. Like, we had
business meeting,
awesome.
So
like, food was awesome. The drinks. I mean, and then, like, again, the chance to sit down and network and meet everybody and chat with everybody, like, one-on-one. It's a little bit more of kind of like an intimate setting versus, like, 10 to 15 seconds on the show floor when you're jumping booth to booth or event to event.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to see, like, how the diversity of people here. Like, just, I mean, the amount of kids too. Like, it's changed. Like, it's really, Fabtech has really went from super professional, commercial, like, businessy to like
mainstream.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's for the entire industry now.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Hi.
Hi, thanks for interrupting my podcast.
It's that beard.
Right
it's
there.
that beard.
No, so the original camera dude from Weld.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
I like hanging out with him. He's
Yeah.
we're still good buddies. He's out in Clearwater. I live in Orlando. So every once in a while we get to meet up and do some different stuff.
That's super cool.
But I mean, like, again, you know, like you just get to see everybody.
It's changed. It's even just from 2019. It's just changed so much. It's just so cool to watch how it's evolving over all these years. It went from being so like crisp, professional, like no, shenanigans at all. Even the Hard Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember going to the Hard Rock 2019, and it was a totally different environment than what it is now. Oh my God, it was a huge party this year.
Yeah.
And then last year, even from last year, huge party compared to what it's been.
And it's great. You get to meet so many people. You get to network and, chat. Like, you're interested in this, I'm interested in that. Like, and then making connections. Somebody's like, oh yeah, I'd love to meet, like Rae. Like, oh, well, she'll be here tonight. I'll link you two up.
Yep.
Sam that was hanging out with Travis. You're like her spirit animal. She loves you.
God,
She's like, I can't
her.
wait to meet her.
Motorcycles too.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
So it's been a great event, but I am looking forward to getting in the car this afternoon and going home.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, I don't leave until Saturday morning, so
Ouch.
I did it on accident though. You know how sometimes student day is on Friday?
Yep.
And I didn't want to miss that, so I was like, I went ahead and booked my flight to leave Saturday morning, thinking student day was Friday, and it's actually today on
Yeah,
Thursday.
I think that's in Chicago too.
Yep, and so actually I'm going to spend the whole day decompressing. I'm going to go to the aquarium and check
I
some
heard they have
things
a really
out.
cool aquarium here. It's the only aquarium in the United States with a killer whale.
Yeah,
Or not a
and-
killer whale, whale shark.
Yeah,
Sorry, whale shark.
and it's like one of the biggest in the nation, I think,
Yeah.
is what I heard. So I'm definitely going to try to check that out tomorrow.
Well, very cool. Let me know how it is, because I know my wife and kids want to come up and see it. So I think
Yeah.
at some point we're going to hightail up here and check it out.
I'll send you some photos.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Once again, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast.
of course,
Appreciate
always.
your time. I'm going to let you get back to your appearances over at Hypertherm.
Hypertherm.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Yeah, well, it was good to talk to you, and of course, anytime.
Always great seeing you, Rae.
Always here. All right.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out new episodes of Weld Wednesdays with AWS the first Wednesday of every month. For more information on how you can get involved with AWS, check out aws.org. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and until next time, make every weld better than your last.